Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So, do you like to print using hygroscopic filaments like PETG or nylon? If so, you've undoubtedly encountered the situation where you leave a spool of said material in storage for a while, it absorbs the ambient moisture from the air, and then when you try to print with it, you encounter all sorts of printing problems like weak layer adhesion, stringing, poor surface texture, etc. Well, today I'd like to show you a quick, easy, and economical way to make your own filament dryer. So this is really nothing more than an ordinary run-of-the-mill food dehydrator that I purchased for less than $40 and modified it for filament drying. We'll talk about how to modify it and use it for drying out wet filament, as well as showing you a couple test prints of how this thing works. So if that sounds like fun, let's make like Marty McFly and go back in time and show the unboxing of this food dehydrator. All right, so the first thing to do is get this thing out of the box. So as you can see, here's what it looks like. Pretty generic packaging. Yeah, it just says what it's good for. I guess it's this a Karch food baking device is what this thing actually is. It's probably sold by different brands, but okay. Oh, that's interesting. Rated power 345 watts. So that's actually a little higher than I thought it would be. That's almost like half of a toaster, but oh well, we're going to see how this actually performs later. Yeah, nothing special about the box. So let's just go ahead and open this thing up, see what comes inside. Okay, bunch of styrofoam. Okay, looks like you get a food dehydrator manual that comes with it. Hopefully this is pretty simple plug and play. Okay, look at this. Here we go. So this must be it. Let's go get it out of the box. Oh boy, this is a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be to do, especially with the camera. Let's see if I can just get this out. Maybe I'm just gonna rip the box. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it came in styrofoam and it's got plastic wrap, so you gotta really unpackage this thing. Okay. Okay. There you go. This is what we get. So, pretty simple. Looks like it's just a dehydrator. It's got the knob here, so this is interesting. The knob doesn't have any detents. It's just a continuous potentiometer, it feels like. And then it looks like we get all of these different layers and then the lid. So I think we've got the lid and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these layers. And then oh, haha, this is great. Okay, so I guess I'm glad I'm not using this as a food dehydrator because look at this. It came, looks like it's a little bit broken. So I think some of these things maybe in shipping, some of these maybe broke. Oh, actually, gosh, look at this. Yeah, you can kind of see that some of these pieces must have just broken in shipment. This is probably not the strongest plastic in the world. It's okay, we're actually gonna be cutting most of this out, but I'm just curious. Ooh, yikes, look at that. Okay, so that's not the greatest. So it looks like one layer of this got pretty good whacked and the whole thing shattered. Yeah, look at this. So one of my 4 layers is already kind of broken and busted and destroyed. It came this way, so oh well. Again, I think I'm not gonna be using this for dehydrating food, so that's hopefully okay. But I guess we lost one of these in transit. So that's what it looks like. Yep, it says again here 345 watts. And here's your 110, 120 plug. So, all right, let's go give this a try and see if it works. All right, so we've got it plugged in to just test it out. So let's see how this goes. I think you just kind of flip it on. Yeah, and it's on. I'm just gonna crank this up just for test purposes. I guess what we can do is let's go check the wattage. Sorry, I know this is kind of on the side, but yeah, look at that, 400 watts. So actually at the highest setting, this takes quite a bit more juice than I would have expected. Let's take a look at this. What's it doing? Yeah. Oh, Although, boy, I know you can't see it in the video, but man, I'm glad I'm not using this for actual food, because you come over here and smell this. Oh, that smells like some kind of chemical or something like this. So again, I think you get what you pay for, and I don't think I would use this for real food. So for $40, save yourself the cancer, because man, this smells like just horrible. Like, hopefully this will get better over time, but boy, if you're gonna actually use this for food, I would probably recommend you burn a lot of this off first, because it smells pretty horrible right out of the box. Okay, so that's what it does. So at the highest setting, it's 400 watts, and it's actually kind of loud. See, I was just quiet there, and hopefully you could hear it. But again, since we're going to be using this to dry out filament, hopefully this is not a big deal. All right, so the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to modify these inner racks, because as you can see, there's no way we're going to get a spool of filament in here with all of this in the way. So we're going to have to cut out a lot of this interior shelving. So let's think about doing that next. All right, so now that we tested it and saw how much power it draws, let's talk about modifying these trays inside so that we can actually fit a spool of filament inside. So to do that, take the lid off, and I've already prepared one of them, and I'll show you what we've done is, you can see over here, this is how the trays come. All you need to do is basically just cut out the center section. So to cut that out, it's actually really simple. First thing you want to do is grab yourself a pair of safety glasses, because this plastic is actually fairly brittle, and I've seen it when I was cutting it a little bit. The parts tend to shatter and fly all over, so you want to protect your eyes. But all you're going to do is just grab yourself a pair of snips, and all you want to do is just work your way around, just clipping the edge. And I've actually done most of this one. I think I've got a few of these left, so maybe 5. So again, all you need to do is just come in here to the very edge and just snip, snip, snip all the way around. So I'm almost done. I think this is the last one. So when you get that last one, this thing should, as you can kind of see, as you kind of push it there, see? The inside just falls out. It's ridiculously simple. So we are going to throw this away. We don't need the middle. We are just interested in this ring now. So again, watch out. And the inside, it's actually quite sharp. But the idea now is, let's see, I've got 2 of these now that are cut out. And now your filament should be able to fit inside. So there you go. So what you're going to want to do now is repeat that process for all of the rings except for one. You're going to want to leave this bottom one with the tray, because if you don't, this filament is going to be sitting on top of this, which is a little bit odd. I think it's a little bit better if you have this last one that you leave unmodified, so it does have a rack, so that you can put this filament tray and it will sit nicely on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up cutting out the inner rings for the remainder of the rings, except for this very bottom one, which I'm going to keep as a stock ring. Okay, I'll be back in a second. All right, so let me show you the problem first. So I store my filament in this cabinet with closed doors to try to keep the humidity down, but I don't think it works terribly well. So for example, I've got this PETG here, and again, it's been stored like this for, you know, several months. Now let's go ahead and try to do a print using this filament, which is actually a little bit wet, and I'll show you what happens. All right, so here's a little test piece. So these are actually 2 test pieces that I printed using the wet PETG filament, and as you can see, it has horrible layer adhesion. This just came apart as I was taking it off of the bed, and you can see that this is supposed to be a threaded piece, and look at this, it's just falling apart. And I guess this is the male end, and here's the matching female side, and again, same thing, it just fell apart. And I mean, look at this, like the layers, there's no adhesion like in some of these layers. Like look at this, you can pull this, oh, look at that, it falls apart, and it's super stringy, and it's just a bad part, right? They don't match, they're not going to mate. And this can, well, I guess it kind of mate here, but again, this is just not a good situation. So as you can see, the water that has been absorbed in the PETG has seriously adverse effects. So let's try out our homemade DIY filament dryer. So I've removed a couple of the layers because all I want to do is just dry this single spool. So I only have 2 of these layers and the lid. So I'm going to crank this up to 65 degrees centigrade or Celsius and turn that on for, I think they recommend more than 3 hours. So let's just give this for, you know, a couple of, you know, 4 or 5 hours maybe, and we'll come back and try this filament again. All right, so it's been drying out for about 3.5 hours, so let's go ahead and give this a try and see how it does. One thing that I forgot to film earlier is I actually weighed the spool before we started the drying process, so I weighed it wet, and it weighed 424 grams. So now that we've run this, let's go ahead. I'd actually be curious to see, so let's tear this scale out and see what we're at now. Okay, so 21 grams. So, I don't know, 4 grams of water out. What is that in ounces? So that's, I don't know, 0.14 ounces of water. So it did pull some out. You can definitely see that, I mean, this spool is pretty, it's pretty much empty. So I'm sure if this was a larger spool, this would have extracted more water, but that's the status. It doesn't look like nothing melted together. It looks like the spool is still workable. So tell you what, let's go ahead and try this now upstairs in the printer, and we'll see if this filament, now that it's been dried out, does a little bit better when we print the exact same test piece. All right, so here's the before and after. So again, here's the before parts. This is before we dried them out. And remember, yep, see they delaminated quite easily. They basically fell apart. And now after drying the filament in our little homemade DIY dryer, here's these exact same 2 parts, and as you can see, it's vastly superior. So look at this. There's good layer adhesion. All of these are stuck together. It's a good solid part. Same thing with the male threaded side, and they actually sort of they mate now. So now you can actually screw these in. Oops, if I can do this one-handed, maybe you're gonna have to take my word for it. This is a little hard to to get this to engage one hand. Ah, there we go. Yep. So they actually mate together. So I think this is a success for at least this filament. So this was PETG. Again, this is if you are trying to print wet, and then the exact same spool after drying it out actually comes out nice. So we were able to recover the spool and actually make parts out of that same filament after drying it out a bit. All right, so now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, this is so easy to make a filament dryer. How do I get my hands on one? Well, if you just jump over to the internet and search for a food dehydrator, you know, for example, here on eBay, here's one that's similar to the one I bought. And in fact, I actually paid less than this. I only paid, I think it was like $39.61 or something like that. While we're here on the internet, you also might be wondering if someone has thought about commercializing this. Well, it turns out if you go and search for filament dryers, you might come across this, the print dry system. Now, I've got no problem with someone who wants to make a few bucks off of this idea, but if you scroll down a little ways and look, this is their first iteration of their product, and basically this is the same thing we made. In fact, here's a picture of our dryer next to their dryer, and I swear, look at this. All they must have done is basically put their name on a food dehydrator. And here's the even more ridiculous part. Let's click on this and see what it costs to buy one of these. And if you look at this, look, what? Are you kidding me? $130? This is a little bit nuts. Ours costs $40, so ours is 1/3 of the price. And this is even more funny. I think it gets even more ridiculous if we go back and look at their newest model, which is, I think, this one, up here. Where is it? Here it is. Are you serious? Look at this. The Print Dryer Pro, $180. That's a little crazy because, I mean, still look at this. It looks like it carries 2 1 kilogram spools, which I'll show you in a second. That's exactly what ours does, and it's 4.5 times more expensive than the thing we want, and the thing we built. So yeah, I would recommend, don't buy this, just make it yourself for $40. Now, one last comment before we end the video. I wanted to also throw up a table of some suggested temperatures and drying times for various filaments. So here it is. I'll leave this table in the description of this video as well, in case you want to refer to it again in the future. All right, so there you have it. As you can see, it works great. It's easy to just kind of open the top of the dehydrator, grab a spool of your wet filament, drop it in, pop the top on, and then just turn it on for the amount of time and leave it at the appropriate temperature, and it will dry it out. Again, the nice thing about this setup is that you can kind of tailor it for, you know, 1 or 2 spools. So this is a single 1 kilogram spool, which fits nicely like this. But as you remember, these rings can be removed. So I just can grab another set of 2 more rings if I want to dry 2 of these spools simultaneously. So here's another 1 kilogram spool. I'll just drop it in, and then you put on top, and again, look at that, it fits beautifully. So this works out surprisingly well. I'm very happy with it. I'm especially happy that I only spent $40 to make this entire setup. So with that being said, I think this is probably a great spot to leave it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, I also hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. Surprisingly, if you just scroll a little ways down there and click on that subscribe button, it really does help me continue to make these videos. And speaking of the new videos, remember, they come out every single Monday, so hopefully I'll catch you at one of those future discussions and we can all learn something new together. So until then, I think I'm going to sign off. Talk to you later. Bye.